Hello and welcome to this tutorial in which I'm going to show you how to configure your plugin. So, yeah, you have to. I made a tutorial about how to install a plugin using the plugins plugins tab up here, and I also made a plugin on how to install. How to install a plugin on FTP and MySQL. But in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to configure a plugin properly. So yeah, before I get into that, you have to make sure you have in the settings Spike.yml or CraftBucket. Those are the ones I can recommend if you're using plugins, and you should use plugins. Okay, so I'm gonna look for a plugin that is probably easy to configure, so I can show you. Okay, I'm gonna use the broadcast plugin. I'm just gonna use the newest version, even though it says 1.6 point something. It doesn't matter for plugins mostly, cause yeah, they are built for the Spike or bucket function, and I'm not a plugin developer, but yeah, it works. So I'm gonna restart my server right here, cause I installed a new plugin, and you have to restart your server. That is very important, unless you won't get the files you need to configure it. So I'm gonna open WinSCP. You can use any FTP client whatsoever. You can use FileZilla, I don't know, you can use whatever you want. If you don't know what that is, you can look up one of my other tutorials, how to connect to FTP, or you can search for it on the internet. You should find a good tutorial quite easy. So I'm just gonna put in the data that I got here, like my username and my password. By the way, I'm gonna change the password after this tutorial, so don't even try. And once we are connected, I'm just gonna stop the server, cause if I stop the server right now, it starts way faster. So I'm just gonna stop it, cause I don't need it at the moment. So this is your folder. You should search for the plugins folder. If there is not a plugins folder, try to reinstall your server and try to install it with the right version. For example, Bucket or Spike. So in this plugins folder, you should see your plugin that you installed, and you should also see a folder for it. In my case, I installed the A broadcast plugin, and I also see a folder for it up in the top right here. So I'm just gonna click on it, and you should find the Config.yml function or thing. So just click on it and open it. You should have some options. For example, the message interval, how often the message is being sent, and what the prefix of the message is. So I'm just gonna go with my server and set the interval to something. Switch. Some plugins have more options than others, and depending on the plugin, for example, the Factions plugin has way more configurations, and it's also installed differently. But I made a tutorial on that if you want to check it out. And yeah, that's it for the configuration part with this plugin. Of course, many plugins are different from that. So this plugin has a special item in this list. It's the messages.txt. Some plugins have it. Some, it's not called messages, but it's called something else, where you can modify stuff. So I'm just gonna modify something right here. I'm not sure if it's gonna work. But let's restart the server. So depending on your plugin, you should read their documentary or installing page, but this is the general way how to do it. So once we're in Minecraft right here, we should be able to get these messages from our plugin that we've predefined in a random order. So yeah, I set the timer to 30 seconds, so we might have to wait a little, but it should work. So if you have any questions to any plugins, if something isn't working for you, just drop it down in the comments. I would be glad to help you, and probably one of the other community members that watches this video can help you too. So it worked for me. One more thing I want to show you is if you go to the console, you can find errors. If it doesn't work for you, search for the console, and if there's like a long text that says error or bug or yeah, probably error, you have to, yeah, that means you install something wrong, and you should delete the plugin that is installed wrong or reconfigure it, because it can slow down your server. So yeah, be sure to do that and check the console every time you start the server. Not every time, but every time you install a new plugin, if everything is working properly. And that's it for my tutorial, and see you next time. Bye.